Okay, we're back. So these people, they have colonized this land.
Yes.
And in colonizing it, you have to say, you can't just build over here in Israel, even though I own land in Israel, I own land in the United States, and now we're purchasing land in Jordan. Jordan, the United States land that I purchased, even I myself know, listen, you got to get out of the game.
Yeah.
You got to know, like, all right, I got this here, but I may need to, I need a safety net. You know what I mean? I need a safety net. When this comes to an end, where will I go? What will I do? What do I have for my children, for family, or for people? Because in the heat of a disaster, I'll share a story with you. So maybe a few years back, a while ago, New York experienced a really bad blackout, right? And at the time, I was working for Greyhound as a bus driver. I managed to navigate back in a blackout.
Wow.
Right? Getting from New Jersey back into New York and then getting upstate, uptown.
Right.
And because I was confident, calm, and knew what to do, right? I was able to help 45 other people get back to the city, where some people just got stuck in other states and stuck because they closed the tunnels.
Yeah, the turnpike.
They closed the tunnels, and so we managed to slide through. We went through some back roads, and we went across some alternative bridgeways.
Okay.
Now, it took us an additional 4 hours than normal to get home. But if you knew some back roads and you knew some alternative bridgeways that you can get back that weren't...
navigate through.
That weren't, they were still tolled, but it was just not the major tolled expressways, the major expressways. You were able to get back. Well, because I was able to navigate to get back, 45 other people were able to escape a bad situation, right? And this is just out of our control. Well, this same thing, this is not new. This same thing happens all the time, but this is getting ready to happen on a national scale. And if you're going to build, you have to have your preparations. I'm going to build in Israel, right? When it's open and available. But even when that's open and available, I need the funds at that time. If we do this right, because this is open and available now, I have the funds to invest in that project and to move forward and to take the first people to go build, to secure the area, to bring in the first essential resources and materials, and then have a team ready that you could just go in and just do whatever. Do what is needed and necessary to build at that time. And those people have what they need to live. How are you going to go in and build a city and you hungry? And how do you build in a place that does not have food when you get there? That means you have to take enough food to go there, start building, and the people start to eat something. So you have to eat and build and plant at the same time. This is a team. So now you need the food for them to survive while they're building. And to grow food to populate what they're building. This takes at least a minimum of 1 year.
Well, isn't in the law that when you go into the land that there's so many years you don't touch what you're growing until the 6th or 7th year or something?
Okay, so that year, that process. If we go in and we have to plant trees,
Right.
fruit trees, we can't touch for 4 years.
Right.
Okay? But watermelon is a vine. It's on the
Yes.
ground, and potatoes is like a viney bush.
Yeah.
So you can harvest that and eat that immediately.
Right.
But the problem is the time it takes to plant it
And it to grow.
to grow until it's ripe and ready for harvest. People have to eat in that time, so it takes a year. So you have to plant everything in its time and its proper seasons. You just don't go in and plant and it's automatic.
Right.
Things get planted in certain times and certain seasons, and you have to put the irrigation systems, your water systems in. You may have to build water systems. You may have to transplant supplies and resources and materials from one place to another to even be able to get an establishment over there. This takes resources.
Yes.
Right? Before it takes money, it takes resources.
Yeah.
Behind money is resources, which is why I am advising everyone to go and invest in the resources so that we have the resources to go and build.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why within our economic system, we exchange resources. We have money too, but money is secondary. Resources are primary.
Yeah.
So if you look at the world, all the stock markets are exchanges of resources.
Right.
Money is secondary. This is a kingdom principle. So the United States trades gold and silver, and they exchange oil and food.
Right.
These are powerful resources. If you don't have resources, then you don't have anything to build your nation on.
Yes. Yes.
So this is what makes me different from a business. I'm not trying to build wealth.
Right.
I am building resources.
Sources.
So we're becoming we're starting off by being a resourceful kingdom at the ground level. And you can be resourceful in one community. One community is going to have resources in it.
Yes.
And I don't want that resource to be manpower, because that leads to slavery.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So now you have to have resources. You have to have food. That's number one.
Right.
Right. Food is a major commodity. If you can get food under your fingernails, food in your hands,
Yes.
I promise you, you can negotiate with anybody.
That's true. With food.
So now this is why the program is needed, because the storm is coming. And you're not going to be able to survive with a 30-day meal bucket of food rations. I don't care who blessed it. It's not going to work.
Right.
You're not going to be able to survive off of a supermarket supply of canned food.
Right.
Because the hungry are coming to consume that.
Yeah.
The hungry are coming, and they're going to be, if you're not inviting them in, they're going to come in by force and steal it. So you're going to have to be in the place to where it's neutral. You have to be in a place of sanctuary where you can build and grow and have your establishment to mitigate these things.
Yeah.
Right? You need to take your people out. You may go into a bunker and have to wait there for a month or two until the smoke clear and you can get out. But when you get out, where are you going? You have to have control over your destination. You only have control now.
Yeah.
You have control over your finances now to invest in a resource. You have control over your destination now. Right? I'm advising you all right now, if you are listening to this podcast, get your passport.
Yes.
And apply for a 5-year visa at the Jordan Embassy now. You don't have to leave.
Right. Just have it.
But have the visa done. So should you have to come out to Jordan, then you already have the permission to enter and to leave for 5 years.
Right. Right.
See?
Yeah.
You can go get the 5-year visa now. It's $160 US, but you're going to need to get your passport. That's another $130 for an adult. This is the best investment you can put into yourself, because this is one you have now. You have a ticket. You have access. This gives you access to the country. So you can go do that right now on your own.
Right.
Now, you have to once you have the access to know, okay, in an emergency, I know where I'm going, you still have to set up your provisions there.
Right.
You need a place to live, right? And you need some work. You're going to need some business to be a part of.
Right.
Right? And the major businesses here, you're going to deal with, everything is the same, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to deal with food. You have to deal with clothing. Right?
Electrical.
You have to deal with, if you want energy, you're talking about electrical and gas. We don't provide that. That's provided by the Kingdom of Jordan.
Right.
They're supplying the energy. This is their agreement. I can make an agreement with them. But again, it's the same process and situation. But what we grow of ourselves, our own field, our own flocks, this generate our own income.
Yeah.
We can feed ourselves. Our homes are paid for. We're not buying anything. From our businesses, we are supplying the community, and we are working as a part and in part with this economy.
Yeah.
You see, this is important. And I mean, it is absolutely important, because once we do this and we achieve this goal, you're going to see something amazing and terrifying at the same time.
Right. And people need to be aware your 5 years begins from the date that they stamp it. So it's
Right. Yeah, that's what I said. If you get the visa now, it's good for 5 years.
Yes.
You don't have to get another visa or pay when you get here. You've already knocked that out. You can come in and out for 5 years. That's another thing. You can travel still.
Right.
You can leave the country. You have a 5-year visa. You can come out. You can go back.
Yes.
This is what's important. So once we get this community done, the amazing thing you're going to see is that we'll have an establishment.
Yes.
We'll have establishment. Not a business establishment. Establishment as a people.
Yes.
Oh, we have this, we can go here. And they're always buying more land, and they're always welcoming us. And if you go somewhere else to bring something in or bring something back, it gets added to the community's portfolio, and the whole community grows.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of it being like a poor community, it ends up becoming like a billionaire society.
Very rich.
Right? Where business deals is always happening and everybody is coming up. Right? It's not just this clique or this crew. Everybody.
Right.
We have trainings and programs that we always are teaching wealth to the next generation, wealth management, resource management. So now this is why it's different between us
and them
and every other program.
Yeah.
Right? We say donations. This donation is not like a church.
No.
This is a donation where what we build here, we are building the community. We're not giving back to it. Right?
You're investing in yourself.
To give back to a community, it means the community did something for you, and now you've become great, and you're hoping for this person to now give back to the community.
No, that's not what it is.
That's not what this is.
No.
This is building the community that should actually be. Instead of it being dependent upon some foreign peoples and a foreign government, we are dependent upon ourselves, and we have for ourselves everything we need. We have food, we have clothes, and we have land to grow all the food and to make the materials to make the clothes.
Yes.
So now we have everything we need. We're not asking you for nothing.
Right.
And we own this land. We're not asking you for anything.
Right.
This is the power of a unified community.
Yes, it is.
Anything we want, we make it, we build it, we design it, and we use it for our benefit.
Yes.
This is the new community. This is what we're building. This is why we're coming to you and we're saying we want to start with 12 million. Is 12 million the cost? No, it costs a lot more than 12 million. But 12 million gives us the foundation.
Get us started.
It gives us the land access. We own it. It gives us the first buildings built rapidly.
Yes.
Right? It gives us the first resources. Right? And we can start the first stores and we can start employing people.
Right.
Now, you may say, well, you already have one building. Yes, we do have access to one building, but we don't want a one building. We want a community. This building is already in a community. Right? Right now, we have a building, but we are part of another community here, right? So I cannot bring my community into an already established community. Now we got to deal with community conflict.
Right.
Right? I got to keep talking to different private building owners, and they're part of a collective already. So this is already a community. So we have to build our own.
Yeah.
I could take the first ones into this building, and the first couple of families, and say, okay, this is the team, this is what we're working on, this is what we're doing, while we're building the next, while we're building the community, while we're laying foundations and the buildings are getting built and projects are being run, and I've got other people managing different aspects and areas of what we're doing. That's what this building is for. But this building is just one. It's not enough to receive all of you. I can just take essentials. You see, I can begin teaching the first teams the first parts of administration. When they could see, okay, this is how we do this. We need to make or create paperwork, how we keep and document certain things, what is important to keep and what is not important. So, but to build the community, I need to have enough land and to build everything there. Then this building, we don't worry about it. This building is something different. This has nothing to do with the community that we're building, because that then becomes the capital city. That becomes the central area. And we get all of it. We just take all of a large area. We're looking at, you want 1,000 acres.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want 1,000 acres. You don't want to come in and buy 1 acre and then you put 2 buildings on it. And now somebody else next door done bought another part of the land and somebody bought another part. You want to control a large area.
Yeah.
You want to control a large area so that you can fill it up with people as you need it, and everything in this area is your people and they belong to you. All right? If some of you don't understand giving money, go to Spotify, look for Musa, M-U-S-A, Bayom, B-E-Y-O-M, B-E-Y-O-M, and go to iTunes and buy the music. You ain't even gotta like it.
Right.
Go to iTunes, look up Musa, M-U-S-A, B-E-Y-O-M, and buy the music. Don't like it, but if 1 million of you buy the music, it'll create enough revenue for me to buy the land by myself.
Because either way, it's going to get done.
Right, it's going to get done.
Either way, whether you give or not.
It will get done.
Because it's instructed.
To be done.
To be done. in the word,
Right.
in the law,
So
in the memorandum.
here's the thing. The wicked won't do it and the righteous will. So the righteous is coming anyway. I'm just talking to the righteous so that they have full understanding, because I know what happens. Right? The righteous be sitting out there and they go, you know what? This makes some good sense. Then they talk to somebody else and that person be like, nah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We've been here all this time. We gonna be here forever. And they don't see the world falling apart.
Oh, why are we gonna go somewhere and Babylon is everywhere?
It ain't everywhere.
It ain't everywhere.
That's what you're seeing. It's not everywhere.
Nah.
So this is what we wanted to say. That's our time today. I'll talk to you guys in 2 and 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Got the perpetual stuff down.
All right. Welcome to the podcast. If you've enjoyed our reading and our talk. All right. So now we're following up. And now we're talking about preparing for making the preparation for the for the destruction that you know is coming. Okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have been contacted by people around the world with dreams, and they have seen me in dreams, and it's always the same thing. Okay? It's always the world was being destroyed. I saw you, and you were gathering people. And this is people who I have never met in person. I have no personal contact with. And they say, but I saw you, and I don't know what this means or how we're going to do it. So it's not the first time this has happened. This happened over years. So let me explain how the sanctuary works, okay? So right now, Black people, all around the world, right? The Igbos who are scattered all over, right? The Hebrews, the Hebrew Israelites, right? The ones that they won't let you claim or identify as a people, they call you Black people. We know this world is headed for destruction, and we are not in any control. We can't stop it. We can't do anything. But what we can do is build our safe place.
Yes.
You're going to need a safety net. You will need a place to go.
Yes.
When your governments collapse. You'll need a place to go when your lands are war-riddled. Because nobody is going to receive you and take from their people
to give to you,
and give you place.
Right. I don't think they thought
this doesn't happen to anybody. It didn't happen to you when the Romans put us out, right?
Right.
Now you're seeing refugees from Afghanistan, refugees from Syria, refugees from Ukraine. These people are not receiving any type of refugee services from anybody. They are aliens. People without a country, without a home, or can't go back to where they are, and they have little rights, little privileges, and little resources.
Right.
And that's because there is no preparation for them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, I do.
So if they're wealthy people, or their community leaders came and set up a program, then the government that is accepting refugees is apt to support them by letting them continue their program.
Yes.
Because it takes the strain off of the government to have to feed, house, and provide anything for these people.
Self-sustaining.
They have their own self-sustainment, right? So the wealthy Syrian billionaires or millionaires that left, they're fine. They can go anywhere they want, and they set up businesses and they set up all this other stuff, and they don't have these issues.
Correct.
Right? However, the common people, they have an issue. All right. So the common people's issue is when they go, they only know how to be subject
Right.
to a government.
Yes.
The government already has its subjects. It already has its people, and it doesn't want to exchange its people for a foreign people.
Right.
So we take some and work, eat, stay. Okay, this is refugee, but they don't end up with full rights and privileges. This is wherever you are in the world.
Right.
They are always treated as second-class citizens, and if you're in the state of Israel, you might even be just a prisoner, whether you are kept in a refugee prison camp. Okay, so then you have refugee camps. Like, you know, this is what the world does, right? So if you know this is coming, what is the proper way for you to prepare? You have to build and invest in a community that has its own establishment.
Right. Right.
A community that has its own economics. Right? And when I say economics, I mean you can trade, you can build houses,
Right.
You can bring in medical, build hospitals, medical buildings. We can do all of that here.
Yes, we can.
Right? The land isn't expensive, and the building projects aren't expensive.
And don't take as long.
And they don't take as long, right? You get engineers approval, the engineers are already certified by the government.
Right.
So getting the build permits and everything else is easy to do. Okay? You say what you want to build, you put in your plans, you put in your development, they look at it, it's good, that's it. Businesses, I mean, we can get, they have trading names here and trademarks here. So you're able to brand and trade, and we have a trademark coming up. I mean, our trademark is now in the works. It's a beautiful thing. I am telling people, like, listen, there is a lot of stuff on the back end preparing to make business for people coming, because the people who prepare will be in an entirely different situation than the people who come in the storm. Okay? So if I prepare now and build a community, then I can catch the people who come like refugees. I have the documentation, the paperwork, and the finances to support our people who come
Right.
as refugees. If World War breaks out tomorrow and Russia and America get into this big fight, if this happens tomorrow and people begin to flee America, that's what happens, right?
Right.
America has a fail-safe. The wealthy are going to go into their bunkers and protect themselves with their army personnel whom they've decided should be with them and who believe in the system. And they're going to leave regular people as collateral damage.
On their own.
Right? And the people who can leave will leave. Other people will flee, become refugees in other countries. And then they'll see what it's like, because you'll be in another country, you'll be a third world citizen, and your American passport will be literally worthless.
Yes.
You'll be an asylum seeker and a refugee, and you'll have no power and no support, and you'll be trying to get support from a foreign government, and they're like, well, here's what we'll do.
The bare minimum.
We'll give you some welfare and try to coordinate for you some food and a place to stay, and you can be in this little camp or this little slum area, and you just wait here until your government and your country come back.
Right.
I promise. This is what they do. This has been going on for hundreds of years. They don't come and build up empires and you'll be a working class slave here too. And if your country come back, you can go back over there when the war stops.
Right.
because you don't have any money. You don't have any self-sustainment.
Right.
Now, if you're already organized as a group and y'all got something already going, there's a catch. I can catch you.
Yes.
I can receive you, right? I can go to the government and says, listen, I have a $100 million investment in this country. I will take the refugees of this country, all the African Americans, I'll take all of them. Those are my people. They will come to me. They will be under my rule, under my jurisdiction, and I'll take them. Mm-hmm. The government will gladly, you'll come in, even if you don't know who I am, you'll come in and you'll say, yeah, I'm looking for a refugee and status, and I need some support and food and a place to live. And they'll say, yeah, we know. Your people, they'll have a paper. Yeah, your people stay here. Go here and see this person, and they'll send you to the community that I've built.
Right. But we must build a community.
If you don't build it,
right,
you on your own.
Yeah.
And there's nobody's going to make anything for you. Nothing was made for you in America, right? Mm-hmm. They brought you over there as slaves. Being a refugee is the same as being a slave, because before they brought you over on the slave ship, you were a refugee in Africa.
Yes, you are. And they sold you.
See what I'm saying? You were a refugee in Africa and they sold you into slavery. So this doesn't stop. So when I'm saying you need to give, you need to donate, click on the link tree below. Give, donate, because the amount of preparation that it takes, you're not going to be able to do this in the war.
At the last minute.
You can't do this at the last minute. Mm-hmm. The buildings have to be built before time. Right. The businesses have to be laid out and established before time.
Mm-hmm. The land has to be purchased before time. Right. You can't wait to the last minute.
Even if you come out and you say, well, I got 100,000 in liquid capital, if your currency dies,
it is not going to mean anything.
The dollar bill is being attacked. So if you don't get your money into an external resource, you can forget about it. Mm-hmm. Right? And this is not something for the wealthy. This is not something for the rich. This is for you, regular people, because you're the ones that make up the people. Mm-hmm. The wealthy are selling you out, and we're trying to help save some. I'm not going to be able to catch all of you.
Right.
But I could catch a good 150,000.
Right.
All right? I could catch a good 150,000. I can catch 1 million people. Because people are going to go where they want to. Mm-hmm. But of the ones that happen to be coming this way to the Middle East, to Jordan, I can catch you. Mm-hmm. You see? And we can have things already pre-established. We can have a functioning and viable community economy that our people come in and they immediately come in and they have a job. Mm-hmm. Working paper, no working paper. They have a job.
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think anyone really will accept the fact of where things really are now.
They don't want to accept it until they see it.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you see it, it's way past too late for you to do anything about it. Then you're sitting there wishing you would have or you could have. And here's the thing, even if you're not going to be here yourself, you need to be preparing this for somebody in your family to make it. You might be a soldier.
Right.
You might be a soldier and say, yo, you know what? I'm not going to make it. But the truth is, I need to have something, because if things go sideways, I got to have a fail-safe for my son, for my daughter, for my niece, for my nephew, for my cousin.
Right, for the elderly.
For my auntie, for my uncle.
Yeah.
You know, my grandma going to go over there and she going to take my son. My aunties go in, and I'm gonna send my kids with them.
Yeah, because they'll let the women and children leave
They're
first
gonna let the
before
women
men.
and children leave before the men. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Yeah.
And you need to have a way for the women to come out and to have something to build for you to come into should you make it out. They just did this in Ukraine. They didn't let no men out. The men started shaving and dressing like women and trying to pretend to get out. You see what I'm saying? And you need a place to receive these women and children that we can now grow our community, right? We're talking young sons, right? So since the age in America, you're talking about 16 and down. Here at the age 13, they men. So I got to take 16-year-old young men and I got to shape them up, train them up, put them in positions, cut out the games. Everything is going to be for real. And this is in the crisis.
Right.
This is in the crisis. They have to perform, adult tasks. They got to run and manage stores. Right? You're talking about having women sitting alongside young men to help the young man because he's still in development, right? Because he didn't receive no development and no discipline in the United States.
Right.
So now I got to have women alongside young men and trying to get them to perform security tasks, business tasks, right? Servicing, logistics.
Yeah.
And that's 16. They're barely escaping. They barely got out.
Right.
They barely got out.
My goodness.
And so this is the preparation you have to have. And if you don't prepare, because here's the thing, even if you gave $5, you did something.
Right. You know, as you're sitting here talking, I'm thinking about when Yashua came out of Mitzrayim. When Moses first came to them, and Yah gave the word that he was going to deliver them, he gave them a list of preparation to do. Plagues and stuff come. He even let them know to have their feet ready with their shoes, their staff in their hands. Because look, I'm getting ready to do this. What was getting ready to be done? All the firstborns was getting ready to be killed. Bloodshed. And then they went out. So there was time of preparation in between.
Time of preparation.
When the announcement was made that he was bringing them out, and then the day of them getting out, there was a preparation that was done. It wasn't just some last minute thing and some big miraculous thing happened.
No.
There was preparation to this
thing. There's a preparation. And here's the thing. For this preparation, you have to understand when this thing hits.
Oh yeah, it's gonna hit.
The people caught in the storm will have little to no control about where they go.
Or what to do.
Right? People, all right, so if you have to get on, once all the planes leave, they go leave. Right? People gonna board them up.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay all the money, they're gonna collect all they can, and the plane's gonna fill up, and the plane's gonna leave, and they're not coming back. Those people will be processed. Those people who have passports from other countries will be treated like they have a country that has some respect. And people with American passports, they will be gathered and counted up like refugees, and you'll be sifted and sorted, and people will go back to countries of origin.
Yeah, where they're originally from. They got somewhere to go.
So the Europeans will go back to Europe.
Chinese going back to China.
Right? The Russians going to Russia. Everybody's going back to their country of origin. And the Africans are going back to Africa.
Where are we going?
The black people in America, they're going to go anywhere. They're going to, I promise you, they're going to travel with whatever friend they got to get where they're going and only find out they're not accepted there.
Yeah.
So if you go to Africa, you got to figure out how to navigate Africa now.
Right.
If you come here, we have a program for you.
Yes.
Right? You're talking about I'll be able to catch, filter, process. I mean, and there's a lot of processes here. So if you come in here last minute, you're talking about somebody with a 30-day visa.
Yes.
Right? They have maybe a 30-day visa. And if they want to stay longer, we have to keep registering them every month until they are processed through the resettlement or refugee or asylum seekers programs.
Right.
Right? You're going to need attorneys to process people in these dire situations. You're going to need attorneys, and then you're going to need a network of people, which we already have, to back you, to say this person's in good standing, they have good affiliations, they good workers, they have yada, yada, yada. You're going to need support. Mm-hmm. And the stronger your support network, the stronger the group behind you is, the better off you are. Mm-hmm. Now, I can't speak for anybody else or any other programs or whatever else they do. And you want to go to Kanye's, camp or Akon's place? Go. I promise you, those places will be for people with money only.
Yeah.
Right? My program, I have to take my people and reorganize them. Mm-hmm. It's totally different. We're talking about reorganizing a nation, which means I am responsible for the rich and the poor.
Right.
Right? The widows and the orphans, the elderly and the very young.
Yeah, the blind and the lame. Handicapped
and all.
Yeah.
So if I'm telling you what the responsibilities are, and you're talking about the United States collapse, you're talking about a fall of the UN, you're talking about people abandoning UN programs, you'll be dealing with the charity of nations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to be a very ugly time. It's going to be ugly.
And, and so many are preparing of living off the grid there, but that's not going to matter if it gets destroyed.
Live off the grid. It's going to be so great farming in glow-in-the-dark soil.
Yeah.
The soil's glowing in the dark, the vegetables are glowing in the dark, and you glowing in the dark.
Right.
Go. If you're going to do it. I'm not trying to convince anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just talking to those who hear what I'm saying and have the mind and want to understand. How come we can't go to a millionaire and get funding from them? Because it's not for them. They have no interest in this type of program. Like they are good people. Millionaires are not good people.
Right.
They just have money. Right? And 90% of the millionaires are only helping people because in some way in a future program it's going to benefit them.
Yeah, tax credits.
Even if it's tax credits, employees, cheap labor.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to benefit them and keep them wealthy in the future.
Right. I'm
not interested in trying to get cheap labor for the future because that's forbidden in our law. I have to get you established as the people and establish an entire economy and establish a state. This is a kingdom. This is not a business.
Right. Two different
things. This is not a corporation. The United States is a corporation. Mm-hmm. It's not.
Right.
The entirety of the United States is a corporation. It's a business. Mm-hmm. It can be bought.
Yes.
The entirety of the United States can be bought. It's a corporation.
Yeah.
Right? The majority of it is owned by a conglomerate, a group of people who have pooled their funds together called BlackRock.
Right. And what a lot of us don't know is we're already collateral to...
Collateral damage is, listen, when nuclear war falls out, there's an acceptable amount of death of people, and what happened? Well, we dropped the bomb. Mm-hmm. This many people died, but we hit the target.
Right.
It's collateral.
Yeah.
Nobody cry about it.
Yeah, but we've already been used as collateral for them to get monies as a corporation country. So, you need to wake up. Really need to understand what's going on.
Listen, waking up. Listen, y'all been woke for a while. It's time to get out of bed and let's get to work. Let's come on. Get up. Let's get up now. We have to get up. Like, I'm so proud of IUIC and how they mobilized themselves to go protest. And stand with Kyrie Irving to show that he has the support of the Israelite community. Right? And they said it, you know, we're going to set aside religion and stop the division that comes between us. And right now, because as black men, we are all facing the same issues and the same problems, regardless of our religious stances. We can sort out religion another time. We need to just stand together right now, and that is absolutely commendable. While we are talking about standing together, let's also talk about what happens, like the end of this thing. How does the end game of this look? Because the world is just cooking up war, and I mean, when I say war, I'm not just talking about country. No. I'm talking internal conflict. Social unrest, riots and looting. These people against these people. This neighborhood against that neighborhood. The people in the neighborhood, you got the whites versus the blacks, and this group against that group, and this side and that side. And I'm telling you, this new conflict is a war being raged on many fronts. There's many dividing lines. Right? You have racial unrest, cultural unrest. These things will become civil unrest, and you just have people siding with us's. There's us versus them. And then there's always a new them.
It is.
So there's new thems and new us's, and when that starts to happen, the only thing that happens is you have the fall of an entire society. So now I'm just telling you, like, to prepare for what's to come, there's not going to be much, because the haves will be trying to hold up, and the have-nots are going to go robbing. So the only thing you can do is get to a place where that is not prevalent. It's not prevalent here in Jordan. But I can tell you what is prevalent. You do have people and refugees here already, and they are hoarded and boarded up together in low poverty neighborhoods because there was no provision for them. Nobody took the vision to say, listen, if this comes to us, we need to have something here. Right? And it has to be of some benefit to us as a people and a contributing benefit to the country that you're coming to, that you are welcomed.
You don't want to drain out the country that you're in.
You don't want to be a burden, because they're just going to treat you. They're going to treat you like slave labor. Now, if you don't want to be slave labor, you have to come and build. We have to build our own malls, our own shopping areas. Right? We have to build our own supermarkets. We have to build everything that we're going to have for ourselves. We must build it. And it's going to take what we have now to convert it over and get it going and then reinvest it. Then what happens is you end up with the wealth of the community being shared amongst the community's residents. This is community owned and operated.
Well, you know, somebody may be sitting back thinking, well, we can do all that when we get over in the land. Why we got to do it right there?
Well, here's the thing. You have to accept where the door is open. If it's not open in Israel right now,
it's not open.
Then it's not going to be available for you to prepare and build in time enough to get into Israel. Right? You have to wait for whatever's going to happen with these Jewish people to come to an end before you can enter into Israel to build anything. I already know, because I already got the paperwork. I own land in Israel. I own land in the United States. And now I'm doing the same thing here in Jordan. Okay? I have been successful with this 2 times already. All right? The challenges with Israel is I own the land, but the development project is on hold. Why? The Jews don't want us to come back. They don't want us in there. Now there's all this red tape around the project. Okay? Will we build? Yeah, I got the paperwork. My paperwork is all legal. It's registered in 2 courts.
I seen the paperwork.
And the bottom line is this will get done
in its time.
In its time in the future. It's hostile right now. After lockdown and COVID, after, now the war in Ukraine has started, they are uneasy and uncomfortable because they want to protect their colony, right? That they colonized here in Israel, right? This is our